All right. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Everybody.
All right. All right. So let's go ahead and start the list. The first one, the funny thing is this is the first time that the list was actually split up. I actually got the first two items a day or two ago. So I didn't know that they were going to be on this. So when I went in there to do the list today, I got the feeling, oh, this is number three. And I'm like, number three? What? Oh, the other two are on here. Okay, I already got them. So I was like, all right.
Okay.
So, okay, the first one is a needs-based society offers one level of learning, while a wants-based society offers another level of learning. What can you learn without fear? So, yeah, what can you learn without fear? And your imagination is the paintbrush. So we're talking about the difference between a needs-based society, which is what we've been in, and going to a wants-based society. There's we started out with a needs-based society because it's hard to move from a wants-based society to a needs-based. It's much easier to move from a needs-based society to a wants-based society.
Yeah, because it's freedom, basically, it feels like. Yeah. Okay.
Right. So you would be reverting if you went to a wants-based society to a needs-based.
Well, plus it's easy to try to manipulate people into thinking they need something if people want to sell it. Other people.
Yeah. So that's kind of like a premise of what's to come. The next one is, and I already read this one item to you. I didn't know it was going to be on the list when I read it to you. But under the veil, each of us is mostly separated from each other, the collective, and source. As we detach from the strings of the matrix, we reattach to each other, the collective, and source. This begins as a feeling of yourself falling into place, whereby you feel things around you have a manifest destiny to work for you. It just feels right. There's less of a need to reach for things because they will just come to you. You drop something, and instead of bending over to pick it up, you just let it go. Eventually, you feel as if you are the luckiest person alive because all the things you need or want just come to you, and you only struggle when there's something specific to get out of it. So think about that. I had this feeling. The reason I read it to her the other day is I woke up with this feeling. I didn't have a feeling I needed to do anything. I had a feeling that anything I wanted would be right where I needed it. And that I felt like I was the luckiest person alive. That you have those days where it's just like everything just falls in place for you.
Yes.
Felt before the day even was just getting started.
This is a good, easy day. Like nothing's really struggle. It's just like, everything just flies. Yes.
But the interesting thing is, I didn't need anything. I didn't really want anything. I read and just took it easy, and that feeling permeated throughout the whole day. By the time she came home in the evening, I was telling her about it.
Yeah, because you had said you had the feeling fleetingly before, but this one it stayed.
It stayed all
whole
day.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's
cool. So something told me, remember this. So I wrote it down because it was going to be important that this is going to become more common, not just with me, but with others.
Yeah. It was like, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before. And I had almost a day like that too, where it was like, I was almost contently bored. I was like, do I need anything? No. Do I want to read? I could read. I could do this. And it was just like almost a perfect day. And then when I was going to have to go get the girls, which sometimes I'm just like, oh, here I go. That's the one thing I have to let go do at one certain time, but I'm just like, okay. And I flow, I get there right on time and get them, they're in the good mood. And then we get back and it's just easy. No homework battles, no, oh, I have a test tomorrow and I haven't studied at all, nothing like that. So yeah, perfectly flowing days.
Yep. Well, so that's going to start happening more and more to those who allow it. Because it's not a make this feeling, it's a matter of allowing it.
It's funny how me personally used to ruin my days by just expecting them to be bad all the time.
Oh, yep. I mean, universe listens.
Yep.
Wish.
Yeah.
Universe doesn't understand not.
Right.
It just understands what you put your focus on, whether good or bad. You could sit there and say, I don't want this. I don't want this. And that's exactly what the universe doesn't understand. It's like you're putting your attention on it. So I'm going to give that to you. The next one is how fast you move into that feeling is based on your actions, not your words. Even if you think you want it, your actions have to align with it. Attachments to things like sugar tell you that you're not quite ready, but eventually you'll detach and be rewarded for it. It's not a matter of you have to, but you'll want to. So everything here in this 3D, 4D world, no matter what it is, if it's people, your kids, you have to detach from it. Now, a lot of people are going to say, oh, I want to detach from it, where you're freeing them. You're letting them be what they're going to be. You're not so much telling them. Yes, you're still going to guide them, but don't be attached to their response or you have to do this or you have to do that. It's a matter of watering the plants.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've talked about the fact that we feel like our children need us to guide them, direct them, keep them safe, tell them everything. When they come in with a whole embedded wisdom in them that we don't recognize. So,
yeah.
We were Mom and I were talking about this because I've had just like thinking about with, the holidays and how to celebrate them now. Because I've changed so much, but really they've not. You know what I mean? They're still wanting the same things that they've always wanted to do and all that stuff. And just she was like, well, Mackenzie will get. I'm like, you know what? I think Mackenzie, being the youngest, probably gets it more than anybody else because she's not been programmed like the other ones have, throughout life. But then that's where she'll sit there with a catalog and be like, I want this, I want this, I want this, and then part of me is like wanting to tell her, no, you don't want everything. But then I'm like, wait a minute. No, but she does I do want her to want everything. But then I'm like, okay, it's her past. So let me just leave her alone. So it's like, am I trying to control what she wants in life by trying to tell her not to want everything? And then it's like, when does it end, or when does it begin?
Yeah. And just think about if they want something, we're talking about going to the world of wants. When you say, well, you can't have everything,
Right.
each other you can't.
Yeah.
That's not possible. So yeah, it's a balance of that.
To me, I think we're moving away from a thing or things oriented holidays, whatever holiday you're talking about, to an action based.
Yeah.
You go and do something.
Yes.
It's the togetherness that should be the focus, not the thing. What we're moving into is not getting more things.
No.
We're going to a phase where things aren't going to matter. They're just that's all they are. It's more a matter of what do you do with yourself with those backdrops. Eventually, it's things that aren't going to do anything for you. They don't do anything for you. It's what we think they do.
Well, I think it's more the act of her looking at it too, because she never gets all the things. You know what I mean? She's always happy with whatever the things she gets whenever she gets it, or that any of my kids. But the act of them, I guess, almost vision boarding things with, oh, I love that, I love that, I love that. It makes them happy just to look at it and see it and visualize it. It in the just that process. I remember as a kid living do that too. But
yeah, I wonder what. Maybe you've asked her this, but like why she wants it. Because to me, it's like whenever I talk to students, and they'll say, I want to do this or I want to go here. And if I ask them, well, why do you want that? It's usually some feeling or something that they've attached to that thing that they're wanting. And then they can recognize that they can get that feeling from many, many different things. So it's interesting because we attach it to items.
Right.
In this old paradigm, we've attached it to items where it's not really items.
Yeah. The next one is the future you want is not given to you, but created by you as you walk into the want of it. Many are standing by waiting for it to happen, and that's okay. The way showers were sent here to begin the process. Mm-hmm. The wayshowers seed the collective consciousness of the planet with belief and the early stage of clearing the obstacles. That has already begun. Now comes the alarm clock to wake the masses, and signals the wayshowers to begin the next phase. We've been talking about this, and there's many people talking about, that this is coming, and the masses and all that. Well, this is, I'm telling you right now, we're down to days. Mm-hmm. Now, some people are going to see when it really starts, and other people are not going to really see it. Mm-hmm. If you allow yourself to see it, it's already happening. It's this whole impeachment thing is a complete sham. Mm-hmm. And it's actually not occurring the way it's being presented on TV.
Right.
It's actually a non-thing. And it's only being put on to actually stir the people. That's the only reason. They have, if you listen to why they're impeaching Trump, is exactly why, or what Biden did and was caught on video. Mm-hmm. And even in Trump's transcripts of the phone call, or actually in his meeting with the one diplomat, Sondland, who just testified yesterday, he actually wrote it down, and it was actually in his notes. When Sondland asked Trump, what do you want from the Ukrainian president? He actually says, I want nothing. I don't want anything. I don't want quid pro quo. He actually said, I don't want quid pro quo. So now the Dems are actually trying to change the words from quid pro quo to bribery. Because they're being, Trump is actually leading them around. Not that he wants to bury them right now. He doesn't. He wants them to show off so that the people who need to watch this and need to wake up a certain way so that they can see these people in all their glory. Mm-hmm. And that's what's going on. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't really, I catch snippets or whatever. I don't actually watch it. I don't watch TV really, especially not the news or anything like that. But I'm actually reading people's comments that are laughing. They're posting these things on Twitter, and then they put this little soundbite or video clip on there and say, just listen to this. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous. Yeah. And these people are just laughing. Those are the people who get it. Now, whether you get it or don't get it, you're going to be getting it. Mm-hmm. You're going to get it because no one's going to be left behind. Now, you can choose to try to stay in that place where we're moving from. No one's going to tell you not to, but it won't be there. The ships are burned. They burned the ships. Mm-hmm. So there's no going back to that. We're in the
Yes.
process of actually moving. Whether people realize it or not, they're being moved by all that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And things are happening like this quickly if
Mhm.
you're actually, but most people can't keep tabs of all of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just too much.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a little bit, we've talked about it, it's watch this hand while these things are going on, because there's hundreds of federal judges being changed and replaced, and there's so much stuff going on that's not in the awareness. It's not in the news because they have us watching all these other things. So
Yeah.
it's happening now. It's happening in this moment. We just don't see it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, the important thing to note is that the House of Representatives has a Democratic majority, and that was actually allowed to happen on purpose, so that the Dems would do what they're doing,
Mm-hmm.
the whole impeachment process. But what was unusual is that after a president wins their first election, they hardly ever win seats in the Senate, and
Mhm.
Trump did.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a Republican majority in the Senate. The House is doing their impeachment right now. The thing to remember is, in order for the impeachment to go through, the House has to approve it. Then where does it go?
Goes to the
It goes to the Senate. But guess what?
Which is Republican.
I don't think the Senate's going to wait for the
House
House
to
to send it to them. They can start their impeachment process anytime.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be funny because I don't think they're going to be impeaching Trump. I think they're going to call it impeachment, but they're not. They're not. It's not aimed at impeaching Trump. It's aimed at all the Democrats in the House of Representatives.
All the we get the testimony out there. Yeah.
Because they're lying. They're flat out. I mean, Adam Schiff, who's running the whole thing, which I don't know. Who gave him the authority? He flat out has been lying to Congress. So, to me, I observe it just so I can see where the people are. See what needs to happen for the people. Well, whatever happens is what the people need. So, you want to find out where the people are? Find out what's happening out there, what's being told to them.
Yeah.
That's what they need in order to move off of from where they are. They're not trying to keep them where they're at. They're trying to pull them a certain direction. And it's actually having the opposite effect. Well, at least the opposite effect of what the Democrats, whatever they try to do is actually having the opposite effect on the people.
It's complete. Yeah.
Trump is he's actually pulling in more contributions for his 2020 run, and he hasn't even really started his campaign yet. And he's blowing any of the Democratic candidates that are running for president. He's blowing them away. There was just, I forgot his name, was going to be having one of his campaign stops or what. He was going to have a meeting. And they had to cancel because they had two people. Two. They had two. I said, no way. I had to read it over again. No, they canceled because they had two people.
Bless those two people's hearts.
Go in there so we wouldn't feel bad. But it's funny. I've seen they're actually, Trump goes and does a campaign stop, and he has 20 people inside, has 20,000 people inside, and he has 25,000 or more on the overflow outside. Well, the Democrats have learned when they try to do a single person go to do one of their campaign rallies, that if you watch the cameras, they zoom in really close. So they just show the first couple of rows. because there's nobody else there. So now what they're doing is, instead of like Elizabeth Warren going and doing a single rally for herself, she couples with like Bernie Sanders and maybe one or two of the others, and they all go together and do, because they can't get enough people to show up. Now,
they need an opening act.
Exactly. Is the media going to show you that? No, the media doesn't want you to know that.
Yeah.
But it's just like watching NFL football games, which we don't do anymore. But if you'll notice, maybe a couple of years back, they went from, constantly showing the stands and showing the people and everything, to when they started doing the whole kneeling thing, the camera started zooming more on the field and hardly ever showing the stands, because the stands were emptying out. And now they're just, even the playoffs from last year.
Yeah, because you'll see them when they have to follow the football, and it ends up panning back as you look, and they're all empty seats.
Yeah, they kick a field goal or kick an extra point and everything, where the camera's showing the ball going through look at the stands.
Yeah, I know. I see that.
Yeah, now they're resorting to trying to sensationalize the violence and stuff, trying to get people to watch. But that's not happening.
All right, so the next one is turning on the light will display the shadows of fear, doubt, and anxiety. Way showers have had years to acclimatize and prepare, while the masses are shaken to sudden truths. Our responsibility as way showers is not to victimize them further, but to stand as beacons on the hill so that they may seek us out as we all detach from the veil. This is important. A lot of these people that are starting to awaken to what's going on in DC and with the media are going to be confused, especially with what's getting ready to come out. Like the IG report, there's stuff that's coming out where some bold things are going to come out, and they're going to shock a lot of people. They need to be shocked. We should not try to keep them from being shocked. What we want to do is be there for them as they start looking around and dealing with their shock. It's not our job to give them truth. It's our job just to share our perspective. Let them hear many perspectives. So that they're not alone with their single perspective.
Right.
Just love them through it.
Right. And don't sit there and preach to them.
No.
We want to be able to share with them. And the only time you can share is when they open the door. If they don't open the door to you, then let them go around. Better be safe than sorry. Just say little, and always leave them wanting a little bit more, so they'll come around and ask. Let them be the one to actually direct where the conversation goes with questions.
Absolutely. And the thing that comes to mind too is a little bit what we talked about the last few days is they're going to get shocked from all different angles. I mean, we talked about the politics and stuff like that, but shocking about, what's happening from a timeline perspective and looking glass and those kind of things, and shock from, their spiritual basis, and shock. There's going to be so much of that is going to unveil in a quick order that, holding that ground, so to speak, and being that beacon, like you said, to allow them to see the stability and feel the stabilizing energy is what's going to be helpful for them.
Yeah, because there's going to be a lot of stuff that our government has done in secrecy that virtually no one knows about. The ones keeping it secret are the ones right now trying to impeach Trump. They don't want you to know what they've done they'll claim that they're doing it for your security, when in fact that's not. That's all. Those are actual lies. They did it for their own advantage.
Self-preservation, and yeah.
Right, because I mean, explain to me what the advantage was to the people when Biden did what he did. And if you question about it, go check out. There's video out there on what Biden did. He actually was bragging about putting pressure on the Ukrainian president back when he was still vice president in order to get his son off of being investigated. Now, what in the world was his son doing working for a Ukrainian gas company? He had no experience whatsoever, while Biden was tasked with pushing through more gas regulations through the Ukraine. Now, that just doesn't sound right. You should not, if you're working with a country and about where we're giving them money for security and things of that nature, which that's another issue altogether. But he shouldn't then, someone who's responsible for that from our government, shouldn't then have a family member working for a company that's benefiting from that.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
We'll see how it goes, but there's a lot out there that is being misconstrued on purpose. But the funny thing is universe always, even if it takes thousands of years, universe always snaps back to where it should have been all along.
And that's why we're on the path.
That's what's going on. No matter what the Dems try to do right now, it's going to snap back. They're projecting of what they onto Trump, what they actually did. I'm not saying Trump's an awesome guy or anything like that. Trump is just someone who's actually in there stirring things up. That's his job.
Change agent. Well, the other thing that came up when I thought about this, that you talked about being a light and so on, is a conversation that we've had a couple times with different people over the last week or so about being authentic. You know, whenever they see us be that light, it's not to say, oh, we've been this light and we're this perfect light. We've always been this light. You know, we've all been through these journeys that we've been through because some of us put ourselves through them, because we're going to be able to talk to and relate to these people with similar experiences and be able to say, I was right where you were, you know.
Right.
So
and they can see you're alive, you're standing, you're not falling apart, and you got through it, and so can I. If you can get through it, so can I probably. Yeah. And
so the important thing is not to hold ourselves out as being, you know, all that in a slice of bread, you know.
Right. Yes.
I am you, and I've just had time to go to this point, and you can too.
The wording of these things, I mean, a lot of people, you know, just get the gist of it, but I mean, you know me, I word things a specific way. And the last sentence on this was, our responsibility as way showers is not to victimize them further, but to stand as beacons on the hill so that they may seek us out as we all detach from the veil.
Exactly.
Even the way showers are still inflicted. We're a bunch of addicts. What's going on is we're all a bunch of addicts coming off our drug.
Right.
The drug, if anyone questions, is lies. We have been addicted to the lies that they've been feeding us. And now we're all coming off of that. Some of us have had a head start. Why did we get a head start? Well, because we have the responsibility to share it among the ones that didn't get that head start.
Right. Yep.
So we are all still recovering. Doesn't matter how far along you think you are, we're all still recovering addicts.
Absolutely.
So the next one is, a moment of time is coming where symbolically everything is all turned off and time stands still. This isn't a moment of fear, but one of birth, a birth of a new time, where we are no longer beholden to a clock, no longer feel the pressure of being or acting a certain way, and no longer look outside for meaning. This is humanity's rebirth of imagination or dream space into reality.
That's beautiful. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, I got chills. I got chills when I wrote it, and I got
Really
chills
good.
right there when I'm reading.
I can feel it. I mean, I feel that so much in my soul. It was really beautiful.
This is an activating. This is an act. This is all of this was centered around this. A time is coming. A lot of people call it the event. I don't know. I don't worry too much about how is it going to be a pink wave that comes through or a purple.
I hope so. That'd be fun.
Yeah, but want it too much, you might be disappointed. What I'm saying now is imagine a bunch of different kinds. But the important thing is not that pink wave or purple wave, is what does this usher in?
I don't know. I feel so good now. Like I've already had such a shift personally that I see it coming for other people too. You know, I see people almost immediately just shifting, and it's just so beautiful. So it's like it's coming in waves, I guess, already of that you can't even see, you know,
already in it, but successive waves. But when we get out of all this and we're, years down the road and we look back on this, it's going to look like an event. We're going to describe it as that. Because in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't very long of a period of time. But right now, while we're in it, it feels like forever. Okay, it's meant to do that. It's people don't realize how fast you're growing right now. We're packing in years and decades and centuries worth of growth in just months. And this is all going on, and each person is going at their own pace or whatnot, but it's all accelerated. And the focus is a rebirth. We as a species are going back in the birth canal, and we're like a litter of humanity. We're just all being born together at the same time, so that when we come out the other side, we'll look around and it's all our litter mates. We're no longer separated. We're all litter mates. We all went through this together. We're all going to feel like brothers and sisters again, and that's going to start bringing us together. And that's just the start of us coming together.
Yeah, I can feel that. Definitely.
So it's going to be, after this, it's going to resemble more of playing with your imagination or your dream space, not nightmares, because you bring that in there with you. But you think about your dreams, if the bits and pieces, not the dark ones, but the ones where you wander around and whatnot. Do you remember clocks? I don't remember.
No.
You can flash from one moment to the other to whatever. Well, I think there's a reason for that. Time, we all have time embedded in us. I told her, each of us is a time machine. Not that we do travel in time with our memories and all that, but we're time generators. Well, those time generators in this moment of time are going to be turned off. Now, it doesn't mean they're going to be turned off for good. It just means we're going to turn them off, and then we're going to upgrade, and then we're going to turn things back on, and time is going to work for us instead of working against us. Because right now, we're beholden to time. And I'm going to a time where we're not going to be beholden to it anymore. Time is going to be our friend. We're going to slow it down, speed it up as we need it. So
Yeah, and it's already starting to happen a little bit. We've talked before about it, and this week happened again for me where that when you get to when you don't care about it, or you just go, I'm not going to think about it. It doesn't matter. I'll get there. I'll be there at the proper time, or I'll be there supposed to be, and it magically happens. When you logically try to figure it out, it's like there's no way you should have been able to fit all that in. So it's a letting go of it and not caring about it so much, and the freedom that you feel in that, because we all are pressured a lot by time. We restrict ourselves by time. We limit ourselves by time. Yeah, it's very artificial in nature.
And if you'll notice, I would say probably the one topic that I speak most of in these from these lists has to do with time, and I haven't even scratched the surface.
Yeah,
there's a lot going to come out about how we have been manipulated by time, and how time can be manipulated, but those secrets were not shared with us. Now, we've all, to some extent, played around with time. We just didn't realize it. When you found yourself, you were going to be late for something, you're definitely going to be late, you're definitely going to be late. And then you finally just said, the hell with it. And you went and did whatever, and you got there on time.
Yeah.
Not a coincidence. But we then gave ourselves an excuse of why that. Well, that's part of the brainwashing. Well, all of that is coming undone, and we will start to see how things were really made up, how they really work.
Yeah.
But to each his own. It's free will to know. Not everyone's going to want to know right now. Some people, and it's not based on what you say, it's based on your actions. Yeah. So, exactly. All right, then the last one is, from now until that moment, it is our responsibility to create the anticipation of that moment within ourselves and spread the idea to those just waking up. It's volunteers only, no pressure. So check with your higher self for details of your mission. If you're in doubt or not sure of your mission, no worries. Your higher self will be coming online like never before, for which I have no doubt. Welcome to the Great Awakening. Where we go one, we go all. So what this signifies is your higher self. Some people have said, I get these things occasionally. I think it's my higher self. I go in my journal, or I get this presence that tells me I need to do this or whatnot. Well, that's your higher self. But even then, it's still not quite clear. Or some people say, well, I don't really get anything, but you're woke. Well, if you're woke, your higher self woke you. No one else woke you. Your higher self woke you.
Right.
Well, a lot of people are still kind of ambiguous about my higher self or whatnot. Like I said, no worries. Because we're now entering a new phase when your higher self is going to become much clearer. You're going to know it's going to come in your voice, but it has a certain presence about it. That is going to be your higher self. I've been getting it for my list. You're going to be getting stuff. You may not do videos about it, but it's going to be just as compelling, or probably much more so to you, about your mission and about what you are really here for.
Yeah.
And your mission is not to, there's a lot of 3D stuff that was meant for you to be stuck in order to learn lessons. And that wasn't wasted. That was needed to set the stage for this phase that's coming online. This is when your mission parameters are going to start coming through loud and clear.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because when you think about it, and we just recently had a retreat, Wings on the Ground retreat, where a lot of us started playing around with light language. And things coming through, because sometimes it's not even words, it's songs, it's tones, it's whatever. Your higher self can work through those things and speak to your heart and speak to your soul. And sometimes it comes in pictures, or it comes in light language, and light language being tones and sounds that sounds like a different language, like speaking in tongues.
Yes.
But your soul is getting the information. So if you have the urge to whatever, paint, draw, sing to yourself, even, like I'll drive in the car and sometimes I just need to yell or make a tone or whatever. Those things, higher self working in a variety of ways to speak to you at a cellular and heart level, to bring those things in. So that's coming through now, and some people think that, okay, am I just making this up, or I don't know what this means. And you may not know what it means up here, but your heart knows what it means.
It's trying to bypass the critical mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The boundaries, the walls, the blocks, the obstacles, those are coming down. They're crumbling. Yes, don't beat yourself up for having doubts, little here and there, but just catch yourself when you're doing things like showing fear or whatnot. Don't beat yourself up. Just catch yourself doing it and say, I'm afraid of.
Why am I having that thought?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
That's when you go into self-discovery, because that's what this is about.
Yes.
How can someone grant you free will if they tell you what it is? Then it's not really free will. It's what someone gave to you. So your free will is unveiling before you. It's up to you to steer it. How do you steer it? Not by what you say, but by your actions, by what you're willing to give up, what you're not willing to give up. There's no right way or wrong way, or it's whatever feels. This is what I want to invest in. This is what feels right. That doesn't feel right anymore. So, and then I think more and more of the star seeds will start coming together and sharing stories and gaining more and more confidence, especially as their higher selves are coming along more.
Yeah, I'm also receiving that anytime that you are enjoying something or you want to do something, you feel that draw, but you get this voice saying, well, you should be doing this. That's the time to pay attention. That's also the recognition of, okay, what is this? Is this me? Is this my high self? Is it something else? And those messages are coming through, and that's where your doubts often come in. And so just turning attention to it and seeing it and going, no, I'm not going to entertain that or turn away from it, is sometimes all you need to do.
Even if it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Be learning discernment, because good stuff from the 3D, 4D world is often what they enticed us with to get us hooked on their narrative. So now, if something is too good to be true, too bad to be true, doesn't matter what it is, we should still be scrutinizing it. Doesn't mean we need to say no.
Right.
It just means look at it for what it is. Does it resonate? There's plenty of stuff that people call good that I would say no to because it just doesn't resonate with me. It's just, oh no, it tastes really good. You should have some of this, this hot fudge sundae or something like that. Yeah, I couldn't imagine having that much sugar right now because I don't eat sugar.
You'd be bouncing off the wall.
Man, can you imagine? Hey, can you imagine?
Sugar and caffeine.
Because I don't do caffeine. I don't do sugar. So, man, if I had some right now, whew,
I wouldn't be here right now. I'd probably go I'd be like, see you later, honey.
I think my heart would probably stop.
Probably.
So right now, what we're getting a lesson in during this time is discernment. Discernment is slowing down from impulsive decision making to intentful decision making by way of asking yourself questions about the thing that is being presented to you. In that slowing down, it gives you a chance to get away from your impulses, your instincts. Those are all brainwashing, things that were pushed on us, and get into more of your heart and say, do I believe in this for me? Does it resonate? Does it feel right? Because your truth is not everyone else's truth. It doesn't need to be. It's your perspective. But what we're learning how to do is gain multiple perspectives in our becoming, coming back into the multi-dimensional beings that we are, is opening yourself up to other people's ideas. Doesn't mean you need to jump on their opinion. It just means open yourself to see where they're coming from.
Right.
Yeah.
But it also means scrutinizing too, not judging, just scrutinizing, saying, "Oh, I hear what you're saying. I'm not going to do that, but tell me more about it so I can understand where you're coming from."
Right.
Yeah, and what came to me as you were talking about that not hurrying is also that's another way time keeps us locked in, because if we're having to, if we're on a schedule and we're having to rush or move through, we'll be having a likelihood of rushing ourselves and pushing ourselves to be quick versus taking that extra bit of time to really connect in and read and have the discernment.
Well, if you think about not this last item, but the one before that, the three things I mentioned, if you think about it, is no longer beholden to a clock, no longer feel the pressure of being or acting a certain way, and no longer look outside for meaning.
Yes.
I mean, that's pretty much everything.
That's basically what my whole life path right now. All three of those things.
Yep, exactly. Absolutely.
So you think about it, you get rid of the clock, or you change how your relationship to a clock. You readjust that pressure that we all feel that you got to do something or not do something, of being a certain way and acting a certain way. You readjust that pressure, back off that pressure. And then the looking outside yourself for meaning.
Yeah, exactly.
Think about how that would transform your whole beingness.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we're doing, but we're doing it as a species, but we're also doing it individually where you have free will. So that's why this thing doesn't seem to happen fast. If it did, would you get somewhere and go, "Whoa, what happened? Who did this?" I mean, you'd wonder did you really have a chance to actually think it through? And were you cognizant while you were making those decisions?
Right. And that goes back to, it is a journey, not a destination. I mean, would you want to just snap to it all of a sudden and you'd be like, you missed the whole process and the experience of it? It'd be like riding a roller coaster. Do you want to just go from getting on the ride to getting off the ride? Or do you want to go through all of the different hoops and loops? And that's where the excitement is.
Well,
so,
if I vomit on the ride, then yes, I want to get right to the end.
Well, like with kids, I want summer vacation so bad. And it's like, without having the school, the summer vacation's not exciting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, just imagine if your whole life was summer vacation. Would you eventually get bored with summer vacation?
Right. Or if there's that one show that like every day was Christmas, I forget, it was a TV show where they did it and it just became a boring any old day. It was a kid who had Christmas every day or something.
Well, it's funny because we've been talking. I've been telling her this. How long has it been now? It's been a couple of years.
Yeah, at least.
That I get these feelings that I used to get when I was a little kid. Not Christmas morning, but 2 weeks from Christmas. And
yes.
Having that Christmas spirit.
The anticipation.
Anticipation of getting gifts or whatnot. It was just that Christmas spirit feeling.
It's like the energy of just everybody in good cheer you're just contagious. Yes, I know what you mean.
And that's what I told her that I've been getting periodically and more frequently.
Yeah.
And now she's got other people telling her
Yeah.
that too now.
Yeah, exactly. And I always wondered, why I enjoyed what they call the Advent season, which was all the season up to the Christmas day. And it is about that. It's that people take
like true joy.
down. I mean, it is about slowing down. It's about taking time. It's about focusing on yourself or your loved ones or your community. All of that's kind of wrapped up in there for some people around those holidays, that holiday season.
Yeah, I see it as a time to bake cookies, a time to sing Christmas carols, a time to sit by the fire and just reminisce about what people love about the Christmas time. Not getting gifts.
No.
It's not something. It's about sharing and receiving from that sharing. And I've been getting that feeling, and it's getting more and more robust and lasting longer and longer and longer without my focus on December 25th.
Yes. I agree.
So I think it's that spirit, that I think is more and more people will start tapping into. And some people might say, well, mine isn't about Christmas, it's about 4th of July, or it doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be Christmas. It's that spirit. And I think more and more people will be sharing.
I'm getting chills.
Yeah.
There's a song, it's a Celine Dion song. It's one of my favorites. It's like, don't save it all for Christmas Day. And just the lyrics behind it. It's such a beautiful song. That season, it's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, it's now, we are the generators of that. And now if we get rid of all these blocks and obstacles to it, we can let our hearts sing and let it permeate out further and further, and not be looking over our shoulder and go, maybe I've gone too far. Or maybe,
right.
Because you start, I remember, I would think about Christmas and all the spirit when I was a kid and all that. And I would do that for a while. And then I go, oh, I haven't done my homework yet.
Yeah.
Not having that homework to do anymore. Not having whatnot, so that it could just continue to build and build and build and build. And before long, that becomes more the driving force behind us.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. That feels good. Yeah.
It does.
Awesome. This is good.
Yep.
Good. Anything else you guys have before we wrap this?
I don't think so. Feels really good.
Yeah. All right. Well, see you later, everybody.